I woke in blood, my hands red, my axe buried in my shield brother's chest. Ragnar, the Viking warrior I'd sworn a blood oath to protect, lay dead beneath me. And I remembered nothing. The Berserker rage had taken me during battle, and when it released me, my closest friend was gone. Every Norse warrior in our warband believed the same thing. I'd killed him. The Berserker went mad and murdered his brother. But I swear by Odin and Thor, I didn't do this. Someone used my curse against me. Someone killed Ragnar and made sure I'd take the blame. If you already suspect who the real Viking killer is, drop your theory below. Most will guess wrong. My name is Thorir Bearclaw, and I'm a Berserker in Jarl Haldor's warband. For 10 winters, I've fought alongside Norse warriors in shield walls and raids across Saxon lands. The Berserker rage is both gift and curse. In battle, I become unstoppable, feeling no pain, fighting with the strength of 20 men. But afterward, there's nothing. No memory, just darkness and blood, and the terrible question, what did I do while the beast controlled me? That's why Viking berserkers always fight with a shield brother, someone who watches over us during the rage, someone who stops us from killing our own warriors when the battle madness doesn't know friend from enemy. Ragnar Wolfheart had been my shield brother for 10 winters. We'd sworn blood oaths, fought back to back through 100 battles, saved each other's lives more times than I could count, and now Norse warriors said I'd murdered him. The battle against the Saxons had been brutal. We'd attacked their fort at dawn, hit them hard with a shield wall charge. I remember the moment the Berserker rage took me, that familiar sensation of the world going red, my body moving without thought, my axe rising and falling like Thor's hammer. Pure violence, pure fury. I remember killing Saxons, lots of them. Remember their screams. Remember blood spraying. Remember the Viking war cries around me, our Norse brothers pushing forward. Then, nothing. Darkness. The rage consumed everything. When I woke, the battle was over. Victory belonged to our Viking warband. Saxon bodies littered the ground. Our Norse warriors were gathering weapons, tending wounds, celebrating. Normal aftermath. Except I was kneeling in mud and blood. Ragnar lay in front of me, eyes staring at nothing. My axe, my personal weapon that every warrior in this warband recognized, was buried in his chest. Right through his leather armor, through his ribs, into his heart. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." But the evidence spoke. My hands were covered in his blood, my axe was the murder weapon, and I had no memory of anything after the Berserker rage took me. "Thorir?" a voice behind me. I turned to see Bjorn, one of our war council warriors, staring at me with horror. "What have you done?" I can't remember." "You killed Ragnar?" Bjorn's hand moved to his sword. "Your own shield brother? The Viking warrior you swore blood oaths to protect." "I didn't! I wouldn't!" I stood, backing away from the body. "Ragnar was my brother. 10 winters fighting together. I would die before betraying him." But more Norse warriors were gathering now, surrounding me, all seeing the same terrible scene. Berserker standing over his dead shield brother, murder weapon in hand, blood everywhere. "The curse took him," someone muttered. "The Berserker rage. It happens. They lose control, kill their own brothers." "Seize him!" That was Jarl Haldor himself, pushing through the crowd. When he saw Ragnar's body, his face went dark with fury. "Chain the Berserker!" We'll hold a thing assembly at sunset. Let the warband decide if Thorir Bearclaw murdered his sworn brother during battle madness, or if this was something worse. They bound my hands with iron chains. I didn't resist. What could I say? I didn't remember. Maybe I had killed him. Maybe the Berserker rage had turned me into exactly the monster every Viking feared. But deep in my chest, something screamed this was wrong. Ragnar and I had fought through countless battles. The rage had never confused him for an enemy before, never. So why now? Why would 10 winters of brotherhood end in betrayal and blood? Unless someone wanted it to look that way. They held me in chains while Viking warriors prepared Ragnar's body for burial. As they removed his bloody armor, I noticed something. The axe wound in his chest was obvious, everyone could see it. But on his back, there was something else, small, dark. "Wait!" I called, pulling against my chains. "Check his back. What's that mark?" Bjorn knelt, examining Ragnar's back carefully. His eyes narrowed. "Knife wound, small, between the spine and ribs. Very precise. Professional strike." My heart raced. I use an axe. Every Norse warrior here knows, when Berserker rage takes me, I swing my axe. I never use knives in battle. "But the chest wound is from your axe," Torsten stepped forward. "One of the Jarl's war council. Everyone recognizes your weapon." "Because someone else used it," I said. "Ragnar was already stabbed, already dead or dying. Then someone took my axe and struck his body, to frame me for Viking betrayal." Silence fell. Warriors looked at each other. They didn't want to believe it, but the logic was sound. Old Greta the healer approached, examined Ragnar's back wound closely. "The knife wound came first, the axe wound came after. Blood flow patterns are different. First wound was fatal. Second wound was inflicted on someone already dead or dying." Jarl Haldor stepped forward. "Could Thorir have used a knife during Berserker rage? Is that possible?" "No," Bjorn answered. "I've fought beside him in 20 battles. During rage, he only uses his axe, never switches weapons. The fury continues with the same blade." "Then someone else killed Ragnar," I said, "during the battle, stabbed him from behind, then moved his body near me, used my axe to create the illusion. Perfect Viking conspiracy to frame a berserker. But who? Who in this Norse warband benefited from Ragnar's death?" Ragnar had been Jarl Haldor's favorite warrior. He was going to join the war council next season. Promotion, honor, wealth. And someone didn't want that. "Who fought near Ragnar during battle?" I asked. "Which Viking warriors saw him last?" "I saw him," Eirik said. "A strong warrior, maybe 30 winters old. Ragnar was breaking Saxon shields, right flank, fighting hard. Then I lost sight of him in the chaos." Eirik, always in Ragnar's shadow. Both were powerful Norse warriors, but the Jarl always chose Ragnar. Important missions went to Ragnar. War council seat would go to Ragnar. Honor and silver flowed to Ragnar. Would you believe a berserker's innocence over bloody evidence? Drop your answer below. "Eirik," I said carefully. "You were on the right flank? Near Ragnar?" "Yes, many of us fought there. 20 Viking warriors in that section." "And me? Where was I?" "Left flank, tearing through Saxon lines in Berserker rage. I saw you. You were far from Ragnar, at least 50 paces away." 50 paces. Even in Berserker rage, running 50 paces through battle chaos, finding Ragnar, killing him, and returning was impossible, especially during active combat. Then how? "Did I kill him?" I challenged. Norse warriors, tell me, how could I murder my shield brother when I was 50 paces away during Berserker fury? No one could answer, because there was no answer. Someone's lying, I said. Someone killed Ragnar during battle, stabbed him from behind, then stole my axe and struck the corpse, blamed me because berserkers remember nothing. Perfect Viking scapegoat. Jarl Haldor rubbed his face. If you're right, Thorir, then we have a murderer in this warband, a Norse traitor who killed Ragnar and framed you. And I have until sunset to find him, I said, or die by blood eagle as an innocent berserker warrior. 3 hours until sunset. 3 hours to expose the real killer. They unchained me, but assigned guards to watch my every move. I had 3 hours to prove my innocence. 3 hours to find which Viking warrior had betrayed Ragnar and framed me for his murder. I started at the battlefield. The Saxon fort was still smoking, bodies being cleared by our Norse warriors. I searched for where Ragnar had fallen. Right flank, Eirik had said, near the shield wall break. I found the spot. Blood in the mud. Lots of it. Ragnar had bled heavily here before someone moved his body. I knelt, examining the ground carefully. Boot prints. Many of them. Hard to distinguish in the churned battlefield mud. But then I saw it. A blade. Small knife, half buried in mud. I pulled it free, wiped it clean. The handle had markings. Norse runes. Not standard warrior issue. This was personal. Someone's hunting knife. Found something? Bjorn approached, watching my investigation. Murder weapon. I held up the blade. Knife that killed Ragnar. Left behind in the chaos. Can you identify who owns it? I studied the runes. They spelled a name. Eirik. Bjorn's expression darkened. Eirik Ravenclaw. The warrior who was fighting near Ragnar. The one who saw him last. The one who's been in Ragnar's shadow for years, I added. Always second choice. Always passed over for promotion. And now Ragnar's dead. That war council seat is open. We found Eirik sharpening his sword near the supply tents. When he saw us approaching with the knife, his face went pale. That's yours, isn't it? I held up the blade. These runes spell your name. Viking warriors mark their personal weapons. Eirik stood slowly. I lost that knife 3 days ago, during training. Anyone could have taken it. Convenient, Bjorn said. You lose your knife. 3 days later it's used to murder Ragnar. And you were fighting right beside him when he died. I didn't kill him! Eirik's voice rose. Other Norse warriors were gathering now, watching the confrontation. Yes, I was near him during battle. Yes, that's my knife. But I didn't stab Ragnar. Someone stole my blade and used it to frame me. Just like they used Thorir's axe to frame him. I studied his face. Fear, anger, but also confusion? Was he telling the truth about the stolen knife? What would you do with circumstantial evidence against a fellow warrior? Let me know your judgment. Where exactly did you lose the knife? I pressed. Training grounds, Southern Field. I set it down while practicing sword forms. When I went back for it, gone. Who was training there that day? Half the warband, 20, 30 Viking warriors. Could have been anyone. Bjorn turned to me. If someone's setting up multiple warriors, first you, now Eirik, then this Norse traitor is clever. Very clever. He was right. The real killer had orchestrated this perfectly. Used my berserker curse against me, stole Eirik's knife to muddy the evidence, created confusion and suspicion throughout the Viking warband. Think about it, Eirik said. desperately. "Why would I leave my own knife in Ragnar's back? If I killed him, I'd retrieve my weapon, hide the evidence. This whole thing screams setup." Again, logic. But time was running out. "There's another possibility," Bjorn said quietly. "What if the killer wanted us to find that knife? Wanted us to waste time investigating Eirik, while the real Viking betrayer stays hidden?" My blood went cold. He was right. We'd been chasing the wrong lead, wasting precious hours. "Who else benefits from Ragnar's death?" I asked. "Who else wanted that war council position?" "Several warriors," Bjorn admitted. "Magnus wanted it. Thorsten's son wanted it. Even some of the veteran Norse fighters thought they deserved promotion over Ragnar." "Thorsten," I repeated. The war council member who'd been so quick to accuse me, so certain of my guilt. He was very eager to see me executed, very eager to close this investigation quickly. "His son, Leif, has been pushing for war council position for 2 years, Bjorn said. But Jarl Haldor kept choosing Ragnar, said Leif wasn't ready yet. And now Ragnar's gone. The position opens. Leif gets his chance." I stood up. "Where is Leif now?" "Left camp an hour ago. Said he was riding to the nearby settlement for supplies." "Or running," I said. "Running before we connected the pieces." Bjorn's eyes widened. "If Leif killed Ragnar, and his father Thorsten helped cover it up by pushing your guilt, then we have less than 2 hours to prove it before sunset," I finished. "And if Leif's already fled, he takes the truth with him." We rode hard toward the settlement. 2 hours until sunset. 2 hours until my execution if we failed to prove the real Viking killer's identity. Bjorn rode beside me, my guards following close. If we're wrong about Leif, this ends badly for both of us. Accusing a war council member's son without proof? We have the knife. We have motive. We have him fleeing. I urged my horse faster. That's more evidence than they had against me. The settlement appeared ahead, small, maybe 20 buildings. We found Leif's horse tied outside the trading post. He hadn't fled far. Maybe thought he had more time before anyone connected the pieces. We dismounted, entered the building. Leif stood at the counter, purchasing supplies. When he saw us, his expression shifted. Surprise, then calculation. His hand moved toward his sword. "Don't," Bjorn warned. "We just want to talk. About Ragnar. About the knife found in his back." "I heard about that," Leif said carefully. "Eirik's blade, wasn't it? Tragic that a Norse warrior would betray his brother." "Except Eirik's knife was stolen 3 days ago," I said. "Stolen from the training grounds. You were there that day, training with the other Viking warriors. So were 30 others. But only you had motive to kill Ragnar." I stepped closer. "The war council seat. Your father Thorsten has been pushing Jarl Haldor to promote you for 2 years. But the Jarl always chose Ragnar. Said you needed more experience, more honor earned in battle." Leif's jaw tightened. "Ragnar didn't deserve that seat. He was good, yes, but not better than me. My father served the Jarl for 20 winters. I fought in 15 battles. Yet that Viking glory seeker got everything while I got nothing." "So you killed him," Bjorn said. "During the battle chaos, stabbed him with Eirik's stolen knife, then moved his body near Thorir during Berserker rage, used Thorir's axe to create the illusion." "Prove it," Leif challenged. "You have theories. You have a stolen knife anyone could have used. But you have no proof I was the one who stabbed Ragnar." He was right. We had logic and motive, but no solid evidence. No witness, no confession. Then I noticed his hands. Cuts. Fresh cuts on his palms and fingers. "Those wounds," I pointed. How did you get them? Battle. Saxon swords. Normal warrior injuries. No, I said slowly. Those are defensive wounds, the kind you get when grabbing a blade, when someone fights back and you have to control their weapon. Old Greta had taught me about wounds. Years of treating injured Viking berserkers gave me knowledge most warriors lacked. Those cuts weren't from enemy blades. They were from struggling with Ragnar. If you were Thorir, would you trust wound evidence over an alibi? Share your thoughts. Ragnar fought back, I continued. When you stabbed him from behind, he didn't die immediately. He turned, grabbed your knife hand, tried to stop you. You struggled. That's how you got those cuts. That's how some of his blood got on your tunic. See that dark stain you tried to wash out? Leif looked down at his tunic, a faint brown stain near the hem. Old blood. Viking warrior blood. That proves nothing, he said, but his voice wavered. It proves you were close to Ragnar when he bled, Bjorn said. Close enough for blood splatter. Close enough to stab him. Close enough to murder a Norse brother for ambition. Leif's hand moved to his sword. Even if you're right, you'll never prove it. My father sits on the war council. He'll defend me. The Jarl will believe him over a berserker who can't remember his own actions. Your father already knows, doesn't he? I asked. That's why he pushed so hard for my guilt. Why he wanted quick execution before proper investigation. He was protecting you. For a long moment, Leif stared at us. Then his shoulders sagged. The fight went out of him. Ragnar had everything I deserved, he whispered. My father's respect, the Jarl's favor. That war council seat should have been mine. So you murdered him for it. I gave him a warrior's death in battle, better than he deserved. A confession. Finally, we had our Viking traitor. We brought Leif back to camp in chains. His confession echoed in my mind the entire ride. He'd murdered Ragnar for ambition, for a war council seat, for honor that should never be earned through Viking betrayal. The sun was touching the horizon when we arrived. Perfect timing. The Thing assembly had already gathered, 200 Norse warriors in a circle, waiting to judge me, waiting to decide if the Berserker had killed his shield brother. Jarl Haldor sat on the judgment seat, Thorstein beside him, face pale. He knew what was coming. Thorir Bearclaw, the Jarl's voice carried across the assembly. You stand accused of murdering Ragnar Wolfheart during Berserker rage. What evidence do you bring? I pushed Leif forward into the center. Not my evidence, my lord. His confession. Leif admitted to stabbing Ragnar during battle, used Eirik's stolen knife, framed me by using my axe on the corpse. The crowd erupted, warriors shouting, some in anger, some in disbelief. Thorstein stood abruptly. Lies! My son would never! Your son has defensive wounds on his hands, Bjorn interrupted. From struggling with Ragnar's blade, blood on his tunic from the murder, and he confessed to us both. Tell them, I commanded Leif. Tell these Viking warriors what you told us. Leif's head hung low. For a long moment, silence. Then, I killed Ragnar. I stabbed him during battle. I wanted the war council seat. I wanted the honor my father promised me. Ragnar had everything I deserved. Gasps rippled through the assembly. Even warriors who'd suspected foul play seemed shocked by the open confession. Jarl Haldor's face darkened with fury. You murdered your brother warrior for ambition? You framed an innocent berserker. You brought shame to your father's name. I brought honor. Leif's voice rose desperately. My father served you 20 winters. I fought in 15 battles. Yet you kept choosing Ragnar.
that Norse glory-seeker who— Ragnar earned his position through loyalty and skill, Haldor interrupted coldly. You earned only betrayal and blood. The Jarl turned to Torsten. Did you know? Torsten's silence was answer enough. His face showed guilt, shame, the knowledge that he'd helped cover his son's crime by pushing for my quick execution. I wanted to protect him, Torsten whispered finally. He's my son, my only son. I thought if we blamed the Berserker quickly, no one would investigate deeper. So you sacrificed an innocent Viking warrior to save a guilty one. Haldor's voice was ice. You dishonored everything we stand for. What came next, I'll spare the details. Blood Eagle justice is carved into flesh as warning. Leif's screams lasted until midnight. Torsten was stripped of his war council position, exiled from the warband. Both paid for their Viking conspiracy in blood and shame. That night, warriors approached me, apologizing, offering respect. The Berserker they'd been so quick to condemn was now vindicated, my innocence proven. Through investigation and truth. Bjorn clasped my arm. You saved yourself through clever thinking. Most would have accepted their fate. I couldn't let Ragnar's real killer walk free. My shield brother deserved justice. He got it, and you earned something too. He gestured toward Jarl Haldor approaching. Thorir Bearclaw, the Jarl said formally. You've proven not just innocence, but wisdom. That war council seat, the one Ragnar was going to fill, I offer it to you. You've earned Viking honor through truth, not betrayal. I looked at Ragnar's burial mound, my brother, my friend, gone because of ambition and jealousy. I accept, my lord, and I'll honor Ragnar's memory in every decision I make. If you crave more Viking betrayal stories and Norse warrior justice, join our warband. Subscribe now. Did you suspect Leif from the start? In the world of Vikings, honor is earned, betrayal is punished, and every tale begins with a lie and ends with blood. Skål, warriors, until the next saga.